Happy Mask Monday, friends. Hope y'all are having a great day. I'm going to be using this rose scented sheet mask, and this is from my sweet friend Kim over at Hanging Out with Kim. And Kim and everybody else who's been on my channel enough who are friends with me know that I absolutely love Belle, Disney Princess Belle. And so she sent me this for my birthday. It's a rosy bright printed face mask, niacinamide and rose water, and it says it's soothing and uplifting. So I'm excited to give it a try. Okay, friends, so I did want to show you guys this postcard that I got. This beautiful postcard. And also, I'm going to be answering some questions I had put on my community post. I don't know how many of y'all had seen it, but Jess over at JW Vlogs asked me some questions that I can answer here on my video. I kind of like to do that for a couple Mask Mondays. If you have any questions, email me or email me at kimmyskitchen1@gmail.com and ask the questions. You can have 1 or 3 or 5, honestly, as many as you want. Jess asked a bunch, and so she's the only one that did, so I'm going to go ahead and answer her questions. So thank you, Jess. At first, I want to show you guys this postcard that I received, this beautiful postcard. It says Utah on it, and I've never been to Utah. My husband was there for a little bit for work, but I have never myself been there, but hope to make it there someday. But this is from Angela, so thank you, Angela, and I'll turn it over and show you guys what it says. So it says, Utah, land of contrast, from city nightlife and metropolitan hustle and bustle to red rock deserts and world-class ski slopes, Utah has it all. And it says, hello, dear Kimmy. I hope you are doing great today. Wanted you to know we safely made the move from Oklahoma to Washington State. We survived a long road trip. Love, Angela. And I will put Angela's channel down below so you can go over and check her out. And yes, I absolutely love receiving postcards from other states, especially ones that I've never been to. And definitely from my YouTube friends where they're from, because then I have a little memorabilia of them and to put up in my craft room, and my bulletin boards, or to hang them on my wall. But I just think it's really neat to get postcards and like magnets from other places. So thank you so much, Angela. It was a wonderful surprise, and I appreciate it. You guys stay with me, and then I'll get to those questions. And actually, if you guys want it, you could just go ahead and put your questions in the community post, and that would be great too. All right. Hey, friends. Okay, so told you guys for Mask Monday I would do these questions, and again, if anyone has any other questions for me, just put them over my community post or send me email at kimmyskitchen1 @gmail.com, and then you can just email me 1 or however many questions you like. Jess over at JW Vlog, thank you, Jess. She's got 10 here, so I'm going to go ahead and answer all 10. Okay, first off, do you work for Roses or affiliated? I don't work for Roses, but I'm sponsored by them at times. So yeah, that's the situation with Roses. And then number 2, if I could go to any island, where would it be? I had to think about that one. There's so many amazing ones. But I would say Fiji. I always wanted to go to like Bermuda, but then there's like, you hear about a lot of things happening sometimes, like with tourists. So I'd say Fiji. And then number 3, are you ready to be a grandma? And I was like screaming, yes, but honestly, yes. I would love for my son to, get married and have a child, but it's all in God's timing. It's not mine. It's not anybody's. It's just God's timing. So, yes, when the time happens, I'm going to be extremely ecstatic. Yeah, definitely will be one loved baby. One loved, one spoiled baby. Unless there's twins, oh my goodness, it'd be the double the love, right? And then number 4, what's your favorite holiday? And then that was like a no-brainer without even thinking. Christmas for sure. Christmas for sure. And I love Easter, and y'all know I love to cook and bake, and that's like always great excuses to cook and bake for my family, and big meals and desserts and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I do love Easter, and I like Thanksgiving, but certainly Christmas. Christmas is the one that's my favorite. And then number 5, if heaven had a phone and you could only make one call, who would you call? And wow, was that a tough one. I don't have any of my grandparents. I lost my mother-in-law a few years back. My mom's father actually never met because he died the year before I was born. I've had lots of friends who have unfortunately passed. And even one of my son's best friends who was like a son to us. So there's a lot of people. So to be able to make one phone call, I had to really think about that because it's so tough. I've got, you know, so many family members, aunts, uncles, cousins. There's a lot of people that have gone on. I guess if I could just call one of my grandmothers, to one of my mom's side, one of my dad's side, just so that not only myself, but so that my kids could say hi to their great grandmas, or my husband could say hi. That would be so cool, you know. Number 6, the best dish you can make multiple times a year. I love my lasagna, and my family loves my lasagna. They don't complain about my cooking. They might say, oh, I would have, like sometimes they might say, oh, I'd put more in this next time or less of that. You know, there may be times they might say that. Or even when we cook together and we've agreed on that. But they thankfully love my cooking. But I would say they would probably say lasagna too. And it's one of my most favorite meals. So I would definitely say lasagna. And then number 7, if you could learn another language, including sign language, which by the way, I do know a little bit of, just only because when I was younger, I had a sign language book. And so I learned little things like my name and stuff like that. I learned how to do Kimberly. Which one? And I said French. It'd be really cool to learn French because I know a teeny bit of Spanish. Not enough to hold a conversation, but I know a teeny bit of Spanish. And so French would be so cool. And then number 8, Ford or Chevy. This was a no-brainer either. Ford. Because if y'all have been with me for a long time on my YouTube fam, y'all know that one of my bucket list cars, well, probably the one bucket list car, is a 66 Ford Mustang. And I even have like the color and the seating that I would love to have. I'd love to have it candy apple red on the exterior and interior white leather seats. So I've got a pretty precise car bucket list. So yes, Ford. And number 9, favorite movie of all time. And that was pretty much a no-brainer too. Like as an adult, I would say Sweet Home Alabama. I love it. I'm not one that will, once I watch a movie, I'm not one that will like watch it again unless it's like something I really, really like. Like I do love the Hunger Games. And if my kids were sitting down and they'd say, oh, Mom, let's watch the Hunger Games, I would watch the Hunger Games with them. But I'm not, my husband's one where he can watch movies over and over again, but
I'm not. I guess it's because the element of surprise, like I already know what's going to happen, so I don't want to see it. But Sweet Home Alabama is the one that I can sit down and watch, and they show it, you know, sometimes on the weekends. So that is one I could watch over. Now, if you were to ask me that as a kid, I would say E.T. because I absolutely loved E.T. In number 10, if you could have one wish, what would it be? And I was going, oh, wow. And my husband and I were kind of even talking about it at the table. We were kind of discussing it. And he was saying, like, for people to be, like, debt-free and prosperous. I said, well, there's obviously more ways to be prosperous than debt-free. You know, health wise. And he's like, yeah, but you know, you can't have mortality. And I'm like, yeah. And you know, I was talking to him, you know, about, of course, you know, if they could cure cancer, because we know so many people that's been affected by that, so many, including Jess herself, who wrote all these questions for me, and her mom. So that would be one. And I would just hope that me, myself, that the love of God would shine through me to you guys, so that if you didn't know him, that even if you didn't know him before you came to my channel, that once you got to my channel, that you were curious enough about him to learn something, and to be in relationship with him. So yeah. So thank you, Jess, so much for the questions. And like I said, if you guys have any, please write them down. Or not write them down, but email me, or put it on my community posts, and I'll copy them down and answer them in another video. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and a great, safe, blessed week ahead. And until next time, bye, y'all.